Well, there's a race to save an American trapped 3,000 feet deep in a Turkish cave. That's over half a mile into the ground, about 3 times the height of the Statue of Liberty. Mark Dickey was on an expedition in Turkey's Taurus Mountains. He suffered stomach bleeding. He is deep inside of this cave tunnel. He's 40 years old. He can't get out. They're not even sure they can get a stretcher down if they needed to. Rescuers have indeed reached him. He's been treated, but the clock is ticking as it could be days, possibly weeks before they're able to get him out. He might be able to get out on his own, but a video message from Dickey, who is very high-spirited, thankfully, is just expressing gratitude to the Turkish government for all their efforts.
The caving world is a really tight-knit group, and it is amazing to see how many people have responded on the surface. We're still waiting for communications to actually reach down here, so right now it's a day to 2 days worth of travel for information to get back and forth.
So you see him there. You see a rescuer there. Carl Heitmeyer with the National Cave Rescue Commission is here to give us a little bit more perspective, because you know exactly what we're talking about. 3,000 feet underground. I mean, how long humanly can you be that far underneath the Earth's surface and not start to get a little anxious, a little claustrophobic?
Yeah, that's a good question. First, thank you for having me and your concern for my friend, Mark Dickey. Yeah, it's a long way, but that's the type of caves that Mark enjoys exploring, the very deepest and more difficult ones.
And this is a real, did he fall, or was he exploring and he was injured, or something happened? Do you know the details of this gastrointestinal bleeding we are told that he experienced?
Yeah, all the reports I've seen are that he just got sick in the wrong spot.
Oh.
There was no trauma, no fall. He just didn't feel good, and then hours later, he really didn't feel good.
And he had to wait it out. You know, there was no, it wouldn't have made any sense to try to chance coming back up the tunnels of this cave while he wasn't in the best health. It's freezing. We could see some of that breath coming from his mouth when he was speaking. The reports that we've seen, it's about 40 degrees. Then you've got people rigging ropes to essentially create a pulley system, right? I mean, can you just kind of describe, in terms of the rescues you've been through, what would need to happen to pull him out of that cave, and maybe how narrow that space is to bring him through?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you could think of it a little bit. This might help, like your house. If you didn't feel good, you could make a doctor's appointment, and you could walk down the stairs, get in a car, and go to the hospital or go to the doctor. If you can't get out of bed, you need somebody to carry you down those stairs. Mm-hmm. And if there aren't any stairs, which there are not in this case, you're going to need rope systems to be lowered up and down. Now, this cave is so steep, it's a vertical cave, that there are already rope systems, but it's also a very challenging cave, which the way the rope needed to be rigged, because you can't go through rock. You have to follow the contour of the cave. There's 70 relay points from the surface to the minus 500 base, which is about halfway. That means 70 times you have to change from one rope to another as you pass these relays.
So it's just this snaking tunnel. I mean, clearly it's not a straight shot. Really quickly, we apologize, we have to go, but Carl, I read reports that he's a very optimistic, a very positive guy. And do you believe that that's going to be a game changer in making sure that this all ends with a very happy ending?
Sure, his attitude is always positive. He's always got this great smile. Even as long as it's been as dire as it's been, he's been immobile, unable to eat for several days. But that has changed. But his attitude is definitely going to be a plus.
Yeah.
I just want to give you an update, too. Some of the American cavers that were staying with him when he got sick, one of them has just come out. So that's been since Monday.
Okay.
That Jessica Van Oord.
That's great.
Has been with Mark, and she has just made the surface. I'm waiting to get a report and information from her. And we have 2 other American rescue cavers that have arrived at the cave site today.
Well, that is such encouraging news. I mean, again, this is extreme sport. For so many of us, we would never be able to do this. Carl, again, thank you for speaking on behalf of your friend. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.